Good morning and welcome to episode 3 of Beyond Fearless Podcast. Today, we're talking about communication and how it affects you in relationships. So the definition of effective communication is the ability to convey information or ideas clearly and accurately to another person. It involves both speaking and listening skills. So I'm going to get into the different communication styles, but first I want to introduce my guest for today, okay? She is a tall glass of chocolate milk, okay? With extra chocolate. A beautiful mother of 3 amazingly talented and intelligent children. She's an entrepreneur and a powerhouse of a woman in the athletic industry. The owner of Squad Athletics, which is an all-male basketball league in Milwaukee. And the first female to GM a men's team for all county tournaments. Okay? Like, put some respect on that, just a little bit. Some people know her as T. Others know her as T Money. I know her as family. My cousin, my forever friend, Tyra Newton.
That was a lot. Beautiful.
This is my cousin, y'all. So, how you feeling? What you been up to?
I'm excited. This is like the first time that I've been in this type of environment, so I'm looking forward to the dialogue and conversation. So just lately, I've just been trying to get myself acclimated in the sports world, but just in a different level. So with children. So right now, I'm an athletic director at Saloa Lutheran, and just trying to get their sports program off the ground. So that's one of my newly found tasks that I'm doing. So I'm super excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you said yes, because this was kind of, it wasn't last minute, but I try to be intentional with like how I have people. Yeah. I love your voice. I love the perspectives that you bring to any conversation, period. So it was only fitting to have you.
Well, I'm ready.
Thank you. Okay. So let's talk about your tournament. Okay, so you are the owner of a men's basketball team in all tournament. Like, I'm saying that all wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering it, but tell me more.
Okay, so Squad Athletics LLC is my business name, and so I ran a men's basketball league. And so there's after that ended back in March, there's this tournament in Milwaukee. It's called All County. It's the 16th year that they've had the tournament. And so I thought it would be a good idea to push the brand by getting a team. And so I found 11 players. I paid for it. And then we participated this past weekend on Father Day weekend in a tournament. And so I'm the first female to actually bring in a men's team for the tournament. And we made it to the Final Four. Unfortunately, we lost by 1 point. That would have put us, if we won that game, would have put us into the championship. So I think I overexceeded my expectation because it was my first time. And a lot of people can't make it past the first round. So it was a privilege to be able to go through the tournament in itself to get it that far. So it was exciting.
I'm listening to you like, girl, you got past that first day. And I was watching. I was there. Your team blew them out.
Top 50.
Okay, so you picked your players well. You did a really good job with like making sure that your players had something different to bring. You know what I mean? I used to hoop a while back, back in the day. You used to hoop a while back in the day. So it's good to see you like living out your purpose. It looked good on you.
Thank you.
It looked good on you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, let's get into this communication. So the different communication styles. So I'm gonna read off the styles to you, and then I want you to let me know which ones you identify with. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first one is assertive. This communication style involves expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs in a clear and direct way while still being respectful to others. Okay. Passive. This communication style involves avoiding conflict and confrontation by not expressing your thoughts or feelings. Aggressive. This communication style involves expressing your thoughts and feelings in a forceful and confrontational manner, often at the expense of others. Passive aggressive. this is one that's like common in my opinion. This one is a little more common.
Okay.
This communication style involves expressing your thoughts and feelings indirectly, often through sarcasm, backhanded compliments, or subtle forms of communication. And the last one is manipulative. This communication style involves using tactics such as guilt tripping, shaming, or withholding information to influence others. I know that was a lot, but did anything stand out to you?
The first one, which was assertive. I think when you're a woman in a male-dominated industry, you have to be a little bit more assertive. You have to be less emotional. Yeah. But I can't lie, I have been a little bit. The last one you said.
The last one was manipulative. Or
I would say that immature wise. Like in hindsight, I can say that that's what it was. But in the moment, I was just being led by my emotions more and wanting a reaction. Yeah. Instead of being able to articulate how I really felt, I used certain tactics to get a response. Yeah. So I would say I did that before, but over the years in learning how to effectively communicate, it's changed. Yeah. Over time.
Do you think that you got to switch it out? Like, for example, when you are a powerhouse, like you walking into the gym, it's plenty of niggas, like they looking at, like you have to be professional, right? Correct. You have to be professional, but you also have to have this layer of feminism still because you are a woman. Like you can't just take it away. You can't just switch it off. So how do you
balance it?
Yeah, like how you do that?
Men, my assumption, I don't want to speak for men, I'm not a man, but sometimes they like to have their ego stroked a little bit. I think they like to be complimented. So when I'm engaging with men, I like to inquire about how they're doing, giving them positive conversation, sometimes a little flirty. I know people may have
that's where I was going in my head. Like you gotta
a little flirty. Oh, like you look nice. Like dang, like I see you got your hair cut. Like you look good. Like stroking their ego a little bit does help. But then knowing how to create boundaries, and then when business is being had, knowing how to articulate what you want, what your expectations are, and things of that nature.
Do you think it's the same when you are not in business mode? Like when you're dealing with a man who likes you?
It's a lot more flirting. Yeah. It's a lot more feminine energy. Yeah. I think, I think us and our family, we know how to be feminine. That's not something that we shy away from. But we also learn how to do business and how to know that there's balance, and know how to turn it on and off.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a gift. It's a gift, first of all, because you're right. We come from a family of women who are, we are empowered to like be beautiful, be sexy, and because we have the intelligence to match. It's like, I'm not just going to let you do anything. I'm not going to let you just say anything. Yeah. And so we kind of have a standard as well. So I think that's wonderful. Okay. How you feel? You got any questions?
No.
Okay. So I got another question for you. Okay. So the next one is about nonverbal communication. Right. And so we kind of alluded to it a little bit when we said like we have to switch it on and switch it off. But for me, I think that's my most like me. I don't even have to say nothing. Like let's just say we in a bar. I'm sitting there. My first thing is just to like look a certain kind of way, hold myself a certain kind of way. Because it speaks volumes. It tells people what I'm about, what I'm not about. Kind of like my stand. Yep. That I'm approachable. That you gotta come with your A game in order to engage me. Yeah. How you feel about that? Nonverbal.
That's super important. I do that a lot. Like when I'm out, and especially when I feel like I look good. The looking, I think For me, I think I engage in more conversations when I'm interested. Like I'm looking at how you're dressed or finding certain things to talk about, and then I come forward and have those conversations. So I may start with a compliment.
Yeah.
And I think eye contact is important.
Yeah. Eye contact is really important. Like you lock
when
eyes.
you're around a whole group of people, but I'm focused on you. You feel a little bit more appreciated.
Yeah.
So I do that a lot.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Well, we do have, I'm not going to put nobody on the spot, but we in the studio with a young gentleman who is very intelligent, very versed in women. I think he has a level of like sophistication and standard that he can contribute to this conversation a little bit. Kind of.
Hey.
How you feel about that? Okay, pick up the mic. I got a question for you. So when you thinking about, so let me introduce him. So this is Cedric. Cedric, I met when I went on a, my cousin had a wedding party kind of, thing. And he was actually our driver because we couldn't,
it was a boat ride.
Yeah. The boat ride.
It was a boat ride.
And he was our driver, and he was really smooth. And
he really came to save the day.
Really saved
Let's
the day.
say that first, because we were asked out, pardon my language.
And
he didn't have a boat license to drive a boat. So.
Yeah, so he was clutch, and he came through, and we kind of been hanging out, and I'm getting to know you and like just seeing your character, and I think that your perspective is important. I think that you have a lot of good things to say, and I'm learning a lot from you. So, my question.
Energy.
Oh, you want to say something? Go ahead.
I was just like, thank you. That was some great compliments. You don't hear a lot of compliments from women like that often, so thank you.
Yeah. No problem. Okay, so we talking about nonverbal communication right now. Like, we just focused on that. I'm curious as to what you think. Like, when you see a woman and she just, she's not saying too much, but you can kind of feel the vibes. What are your thoughts? Like, how do you perceive that?
Well, that's actually a good question because I recently just had this conversation with a friend of mine. I'm new. I'm a transplant here, so the body language, the verbal cues of women, it's a little different than where I'm from. So I'm from the South, so it's a little different. Women do, kind of like how you said, hold their body language to a certain degree to where you come with your A game. So I'm used to that. So going out as a man, I'm looking for the nonverbal cues. I'm watching your eye contact. I'm trying to see, are you interested? If I lock eyes with you and you give me that smile, okay, then I'm going to try to proceed over. Hopefully I give you my best introduction from there. If I don't get those nonverbal cues, I'm not going over there. I'm not embarrassing myself.
That sounds like scared of rejection just a little bit. I talk about this a little too, and I feel like a lot of times men and women are not saying what they want to say, not really being genuine with what they want because they're scared of rejection. And I think it's such a disservice. But sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
I mean, I won't disagree. Who likes to be rejected? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm a very competitive person. So all I want to do is win. So I'm very analytical. I'm going to think about my process before I actually do it.
Yeah.
So I want the best opportunity before I do anything. And not to mention, like, be honest, you got to meet my standards first,
Okay, period.
Standards.
Say more.
If I'm not visually attracted to you, first and foremost, I'm probably not going to be too keen on caring about what you got to say. Just be real about it. And then once we get into that verbal communication, I'm listening to the things that you talk about, asking you key questions, trying to vet you out the best I can. 'Cause I'm a talker, so it's like I want you to talk to me. I want you to tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay, brag on yourself, embellish. Like that's great.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good.
Thank you. I like that. I don't think we always hear from like the man perspective when we go out here and we looking our cutest and finest and we have in our brain what we doing, but we don't know how we being perceived sometimes. Correct. So I think that was great, and I appreciate you for chiming in.
I'll just add one piece to that. When you're out, you're looking, your best, you want to be approachable. Make sure you're actually looking approachable, because sometimes I feel like women go out and they feel so high of themselves, they forget to be approachable. So that can be a little bit of conflict too.
Yeah.
What does that look like for a woman who, like when you say she needs to look approachable, what does that look like?
Not smiling.
Yeah, just look inviting. That's the way I would say. So again, looking for the Southern bells from a Southern gentleman. We're looking for that physical cue. You know, you look inviting, you smile. You know, even if it's a guy, you might say it's corny. He gives you a wave. Wave back. You know, let him know, hey, it's okay to come talk to me. That doesn't mean he's going to get your number, or he may not even ask for your number. Right. He might just come up and say, hey, you look very beautiful.
Yeah.
What's your friend's name? And that's okay. Maybe he's a little nervous. He didn't get those nonverbal cues from your friend, but that's what he's interested in. It's just, you never know. Yeah. Or hell, he might just be asking, could you pass him a napkin?
Right. Something simple.
Don't
we
be
just
so like
taking it. Yeah.
But I understand the necessary need for it too. So
yeah. I'm glad you said that, because I think one of the main things women are thinking about when we are more reserved is that I get it. You horny and you probably want to have sex, but I can feel that energy on you before you even walk over there. And so if you coming up to me and that's on your mind, that's out of your mouth, that's in your body language, no thank you. Down. Yeah. It's like an automatic no thank you for me. So I appreciate that you get that part. You get that part. Yeah. Okay, so the next question I have is, what are some of your boundaries and how do you communicate them?
Boundaries when it comes to what?
When it comes to relationships.
Romantic or friendships?
Romantic first, and then we can get into friendships after.
Romantic boundaries.
So you can start with like when you first meet a guy, because those boundaries are going to be different. Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier. I don't like when you don't know me and you try to instantly talk about physical, what you wearing, what I would do to you, certain things like that. That's unattractive to me. And I even had an experience where I met a guy. He seemed very, nice, a good overall guy. And then the second day, he was just like, what do you have on? Can you send me a picture? Things like that. That was I let him know. I said no. Like, there was no explanation. It was a no. He said something, I can't even remember. And I said, maybe you should find someone else in your contacts to send you a picture of their body. Because I'm not.
Because I'm not the one.
He didn't respond.
Or the two.
But the next day he said good morning. I said good morning politely, and we haven't spoke since.
Yeah.
That's an example of a boundary. Like, if I don't know you, we haven't built, I'll even say rapport to feel even confident to even ask me for something that intimate. That's a boundary. I'm not going. Yeah. Like, that's a strong no. I even had another incident with a guy that reached out to me. He asked to spend time together, and I'm very busy, so we picked out a day. And then like an hour before, he told me that he had to cancel, that he had a long day or a hard day or something like that. And I said, okay. But then I also follow and said, I had a long day too, but certain things, like, I will still go through with it, essentially. Yeah. Like, I will still spend time with you. Yeah. He asked me what was up, like, how was my day? I was like, I'd rather not talk about it. So I hadn't heard from him in 2 weeks. So then he called me randomly and said, can I see you? And I said no. It was too unexpected for me. Okay. My boundary is we need to plan things because I have children, I work, I'm a business owner. Things have to be planned for me. And so after the conversation, I said, well, I haven't heard from you in 2 weeks. And he said, well, I felt like you were being selfish. And I said, how? He said, because I didn't ask him how he was doing when he had to cancel because something came up or he was having a hard day. I said, my experience was, okay, if you feel like I was being selfish, I would have hoped you would have communicated.
Said something at the time.
I communicated like, okay, this is bothering me. This is an issue. Like, what do you have to say about it? He just essentially ghosted me. And then I said, do you do that normally when you feel a certain way, you just back off? And he said, are you always selfish? That was his response.
What?
And I said,
okay,
in that conversation, I told him that I apologized because when I went back at to the messages, I didn't ask about him. So that's valid, but it's valid because how you feel is how you feel.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
How you feel is how you feel. So all I could do is apologize because it wasn't my intent.
Okay.
But how he handled the conversation was poor, in my opinion. I haven't talked to him since.
Goodness. That's a lot to unpack. So I just want to say how I feel about ghosting. And I talked to you about this too. I think it's 100% healthy for a person to shut off all communication with anybody that they feel necessary to, because it's not about you. I'm not ghosting you because of you. I'm ghosting you because I'm triggered. I'm ghosting you because I feel away, because I need to heal in that area, because you know what I mean? Like, it's not about you. But in your situation, I feel like that was a little bit unfair of him to say, well, you didn't ask me about how I was feeling. I feel like you should have said I had a long day, you know, this and this happened, you know, can we pick another time? Like, any of that would have been great.
Any of it. No.
But to turn it around and say that you're selfish, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's immature.
It is, because you really don't know me and any of the sacrifices that I make.
Yeah.
And a conversation could have been had. I think it could have been avoided if you just would have expressed how you feel. And I think a lot of men shy away from articulating how they feel in the moment because they already assume, maybe based on previous experiences, that the woman is not going to carry the way. So it's no point of expressing how they feel. I'm not that type of person.
Right.
So I'm open to hearing what you have to say, and I can acknowledge when I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, you're pretty good at that. You are. Sometimes I'd be like, I'm just gonna block them, or I would have just blocked them. I would have, and you entertain the conversation because you want clarity. You thrive in clarity, and it's important that you establish and maintain relationships that are healthy. It's like you don't want to burn bridges.
No,
that's what it seemed like. You don't want to burn bridges. Yeah.
I don't want to burn bridges if I don't have to.
Yeah,
for what?
Unnecessary. Yeah. Do you have 2 cents to add to how he, like, what do men think when we like?
I just want to send them. I just want to show them the text. Like,
just show the text real quick. We need the receipts over here because that was a weird situation. You go ahead, and I'm gonna say my little situation too.
I'll first start with talking about burning bridges. Burn that damn bridge.
Ooh, like, burn it to hell.
Every bridge don't need to be crossed back over. You know? So I have no problem with burning a bridge. But as far as like this man's actions, I'm gonna have to stay neutral on that one, just because. You know, I would say on one side of the fence, you're right. He doesn't know you. He didn't ask what you had going on, why you didn't ask. Everybody's feelings are valid. But I'm a firm believer in sometimes just because that's your feelings doesn't mean it's correct. So, you know, with him, I don't know, with guys, we don't always get that consideration about what's going on with our day. So, I hate to say it, sometimes you just got to suck it up, bro, and just keep it moving, because at the end of the day, he doesn't know you well enough for you to be that concerned. Just being honest about it. And if y'all have been talking, casually hanging out, dating, and you know this man has troubles at work for quite some time, then it's a little more appropriate to be like, hey, you're really selfish. Whatever. Right. But I'm just going to have to stay kind of on the fence on that one because I see both sides of that.
Yeah. I just want people to be able to be comfortable communicating, even if it's a potential for conflicts. Like, I don't think conflict is bad. I think it's important for understanding, and I think a lot of people shy away from it.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not.
To you have thoughts or opinions about something, it's actually healthy to articulate what you feel, because then you get to understand how this person is, and then for next time it actually helps in a situation. But people feel like I think they prematurely think no one cares, and they don't tell them.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for you then, if you mind me asking this. So how do you guys, well, you women, feel about a guy, you've known him maybe 3, let's say 6 months. He's very open and expressive about his feelings. How does that make you feel towards him?
Me personally, I appreciate it. Like, I'm real big on it. So that's one of the top things that I look for. Once you express how you feel, though, I don't like the little, like, toxic tendencies that come after.
Toxic tendencies. Tell me more.
Tendencies, like I was dating this African guy, right?
Here we go.
And he made it very clear what his intentions were, which a lot of women say we want. Like, I'm looking to date you. I want to build a relationship with you, and I potentially want to be in a relationship. Like, he put it on the table. He took me to dinner, and that's what he told me. He said. But after I had told him, like, okay, I still feel more comfortable if we still get to know each other, and if I feel uncomfortable, I should be able to express that to you. Like, if we're moving too fast, I should be able to articulate that. But he was very vocal about how he felt, like what he wanted. But then once I said that, like, and it was reciprocated, he was being toxic. Like, I told him, like, we were going a little bit too fast. So he had picked me up because I told him I would go to a soccer game with him. And so he extended his hand and I went for it. Like, I held his hand. He said, oh, well, let me stop. I don't want you to think I'm moving too fast. That is toxic.
Or you could have just said, is it okay that we hold hands? I know that I don't want to make you think I'm moving too fast.
I extended my hand.
So you already know I'm ready to hold your hand.
I held your hand. That's the toxic stuff. Like, because then it makes me feel uncomfortable expressing how I feel to you, because if I do, and you say you respect and you understand, and you get the side subliminal stuff, like, oh, let me not hold your hand. Key. Like,
but to say it like
you
that,
really serious. Like, you really feel away.
Yeah.
That was like, and I stopped talking to him fairly after that because I don't like stuff like that. And then he called me one day and said, so what are we doing? Is it a yes? I mean, are we going all the way or are we not? Because I don't do the in-between. I said, well, we talk every day. Every time you've asked me to spend time with you, I said yes. This week has been extremely busy for me, but I still make time for you. But because it's not how it was when I was unemployed, now you feel like things have changed. Instead of saying like trying to understand, I was just like, I can't do the, like, just talk. Just say how you feel. Like, just don't put it on me as if I'm doing something wrong. Yeah. Just tell me how you feel. I want more attention. I want this. I want that.
Something that works for me, not that I'm like out here dating or anything, but, you know, I feel like what works for me is that I prioritize my time ahead of time, like regardless of who I'm meeting, where, you know, how much we like each other. Here's my set time because I'm a mother first. And from this time to this time, you might get a text back. You might get a phone call back, but really I'm in mommy mode. And that means that you might not hear from me. Maybe we can hang out on this weekend, but I have this thing to do. So I'll let you know, like, it has to be like that because I don't want you to think that even though I'm free, that I'm available. You know what I mean? Like, we have a life. I have a life. I don't want to set us up for failure because that'll force us to move quickly. When we really don't know each other, we need to get to know each other first.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm going to make time if you give me enough time.
If you give me enough time, it's the part.
If you say next week, Tuesday, I want to take you here, I'm going to find arrangements.
But that helps, though, to say next week, Tuesday, here's an event that I want to go to. Can you come with me? Now I have time to plan. Now I have time to see if I can do it. But if it's like
last minute, then no. Because then it's really because I can't.
Because I don't have the time.
I'm going to do it.
Right.
yeah, I'm just gonna do it. If I like you enough.
Yeah.
We're gonna make time.
We're gonna make
We're
time.
gonna figure it out.
Okay, so let's see where we moving to. So, Tyra, what can a man expect to get from you as far as how you communicate?